Hey everybody, welcome to Local Business Hacks Podcast. I'm your host, Carl Case, and I'm on a mission to help you. Every week, we're going to be talking to local business owners and experts to get their best tips, tricks, and hacks to grow your business. This show is designed to teach you, inspire you, and motivate you to take massive action and start to build your future-proof business. Whether you're just starting off or you're taking your existing business to the next level, this episode is for you. So let's get started. Hey listeners, I'm your host, Carl Case from Local Business Hacks, joined today by CEO and founder of GYMGUYZ, Josh York. Josh, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Josh, obviously you don't overnight become the founder of the largest mobile gym in the world. How did you become CEO of GYMGUYZ?
Thank you. Yeah, we'd like to say the largest in-home and on-site personal training company in the world, but it's very simple with a vision and an idea. At the end of the day, you can't start anything without a vision. You have to have a vision. And if you don't have a vision, you're not going to get anywhere. But that vision, once it's there, you obviously lay it out, you visualize it, you obsess over it, and then you got to work your butt off every single day, even on the days you don't want to do it. When you have the most challenging days you could possibly imagine, because you're going to have some really horrible, shitty days. But, before we started this, you were like, Happy Tuesday. And I was like, every day's a happy day. And you said, well, sometimes they're not happy days. Well, I always like to look at every day as a happy day, and the days that are challenging, I like to look at the person upstairs is trying to challenge me, right? I like to look at that and say, oh, you think this is going to stop me? Because it's very simple. I've always said to myself this one line: you can't lose if you never quit. And that's it. So as long as you never quit, you can never lose. But it's going to be a lot harder than you think it's going to be. That's very simple.
That's awesome. Josh, how can people get involved with GYMGUYZ? Where is GYMGUYZ today for people that haven't heard of the brand?
So we are the largest in-home and on-site personal training company in the world. We service over 1,000 cities throughout the US, Canada, and the UK. We are an international brand, obviously. And we're honestly just getting started. First week in January, we already closed 9 new franchises. We're going to probably finish this month with another 3. So at February, it's going to be looking very powerful. So we are going to this is going to be a major, major year of growth for us, big time. So I'm very excited about it. And, look, I always say it's great to make a living, but it's much better to make a difference. And that's what we do with our business. It's great to pick up someone's junk or paint a home or help someone move. There is some emotional touch with that to some degree, but when you help someone lose 100 pounds, or you bring someone back from a horrible injury, or you're working with an autistic child who really needs to be functioning at a much higher level, and we help them do that, there is not a better feeling in the world. And that's what we do every single day.
That's awesome. So for people wanting to get involved, GYMGUYZ.com?
GYMGUYZ.com, GYMGUYZ with a Z. But if you type in the S, it comes to GYMGUYZ too. That's another story I can share with you too.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us. I think that goes with branding, and a lot of people are experiencing that. So please share your story.
Yeah, so when I started the brand, when I came up with the name GYMGUYZ, I wanted the Z because I created an acronym, which is Get You Motivated, right? Gym, Get You Motivated. Guys is goals uniquely yours, zero excuses. And there was an individual in Colorado, shout out to my man, Al. I haven't talked to him in a while, but we do keep in touch. Al owned that website, and he was selling that website for $48,000. I didn't even have 48 cents to spend on that website. Okay. But I really do believe in the universe, and it's real. It's real. It is as real as it gets. And once I put it out there and I start thinking about it and I start obsessing about it, I make it come true. That's it. It's just very simple. I make it come true. And I said, I'm going to get that website. So I started with phone calls, emails, couldn't get in touch with this guy. Eventually I did get in touch with him, and he's $48,000. He's like, that's the price. And he wasn't really using the website. And I just kept being consistent, persistent with it. And I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go and look up his domain information where he registered it and showed his address. So then I'm going to grab something to show you something. Hold on. So back in 2008, this is framed. So this is actually the plane ticket that I took to Colorado. I got on a plane and I went to Colorado, and I showed up at his house, and he wasn't home, and he lived in kind of like a rural area in Denver, but down far away, there was another house there. So I was like, you know what, let me see if they know if he's home or whatever. Well, Turns out he was actually on vacation that week. And I'm like, wow, you got to be kidding me. I just flew out here. This guy's not even here. So I'll leave him a note. I'll leave a note with his neighbor, and I'll follow up with him next week. So as soon as he gets back, he calls me and he said he's calling the police. He said, this is getting a little out of control now. You know, you showed up at my house. Like, you're actually starting to scare me. I said, Al, listen, you should be inspired by my persistence. You should be inspired at the fact that, first of all, I could be your son. You have children my age, don't you? He's like, I do. I said, well, I'm going to build the largest fitness brand in the world. I need this website. And he's like, why do you need it so bad? I said, well, it's very simple. When I start the brand, which we just started, no one is going to understand that GYMGUYZ is with a Z, and people are going to go to GYMGUYZ with an S. And I'm going to lose a lot of traffic. I'm going to lose a lot of business like that. I need the website. Long story short, after, I don't know, it's like 70 some odd attempts, I got the website for free.
Persistence, baby.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm just curious, was that a deal cut into him, or he just gave in on the persistence?
I am just very persuasive, man, and my energy, and I believe I have special superhuman powers. I really do. And people might be like, well, this guy's crazy. I am crazy. Okay, let me tell you, normal doesn't work, but I do believe I have superhuman powers. I actually believe I'm not even normal, to be honest with you. I don't believe in sickness. I've never been sick, to the fact where I take a sick day. Obviously, I get sick, very rarely. It's very rarely I get sick. I've never taken a sick day in my life. I will never stop. And that's just who I am. And I have the strongest mindset in the world. And, people should think about that for themselves, right? People should believe that for themselves. Like I see all these different, people, like, these social media, I don't know what you want to say, celebrities or whatever. And people call them like, the best. And no, I'm the best. I'm the best. And that's what you should think too. I laugh at people that say things like that because that shows a lack of confidence in themselves. People ask me, what are you at 1 out of 10? I'm 100. That's it. I'm 100. But when you think like this, you become unstoppable, and that's how you win in life. And I've been, even when I'm losing, I'm winning. I'm always winning.
That's awesome. Great mindset. So, Josh, our podcast is called Local Business Hacks. Referrizer supports tens of thousands of businesses all over the globe in health, wellness, recovery, and fitness. I know that you can bring an immense amount of knowledge to our listeners. So I picked a couple topics. One's in regards to your experience in maintaining what is the customer experience and how you broke the mold and what is one of the most popular industries today, especially as we look in 2023. Do you mind shedding some light on that?
Sure. So, it's very difficult to create a new category. It's very, very difficult. And that's what I've done. And if you're looking to start something, you need to number one, make sure that there's there's a demand for it, right? Are you solving a problem? That's very, very important to understand when you're looking to do this. And you need to also understand that you can't pay attention to everyone else's businesses and what they're doing, because I'm going to tell you this right now. They say comparison is the theft of joy, and I do agree with that. But at the end of the day, it's also important to compare to people you look up to and that you admire, because that's going to help you. But in this situation, when you're creating a new category, you got to understand you don't really have anyone else to look at, and you can't look at someone else, like in my situation, like a brick and mortar gym that just started and took off like a wildfire, because you're trying to literally break the mold, right? So for me, it was just, I was always a personal trainer. And people would ask me, can you come to my house? I don't have any equipment. And obviously people have always done this, but no one has ever really professionalized it. No one's created a system. And just like you can get your pizza delivered, your cleaners delivered, now you get your workout delivered. And what did I do? I just call it, can I get an OPP? That's just like that song. And it's called Omnipresence Presence. You got to be omnipresent. You got to be in front of everyone's face. You got to be at every single local fair, chamber congress, every single event. You need to show up even when you don't want to show up. You got to go to the events that you think are going to be so crappy. And some of them are so crappy, but all it takes is one person to move that needle just a little bit to get a little further and get a little further. And I just literally every single day I had no money. So I would just drive around the van. I saved myself just enough money for 2 weeks. If I didn't make it work, it would all crumble and I'd go out of business. I saved the 15 grand and I literally spent everything on trademarking and my logos and the wrap on the vehicle. And people were like, why are you trademarking and why are you doing this? No one saw the big picture, right? No one saw the vision, like this building that I bought in May. I actually drew this building. Like if I showed you the picture, I drew this building. It looks almost exactly the same. 10 years ago, I drew it. I was on another cover of a magazine last month. I visualized that exact picture on that magazine. Like this stuff is real. Just like I visualized thousands and thousands and thousands of clients using our service. You have to make it happen. No one's going to do it for you, and no one cares how you feel. No one cares if you're sad. No one cares if you're unhappy. No one cares. It's up to you to lose. It's you against you. And at the end of the day, the problem is most people like to talk. And a lot of people could have great resumes and they could be Harvard graduates. I can care less about that. I would take someone else who's got more energy and who's going to take action over someone who's a Harvard graduate. Because at the end of the day, the action takers are the money makers. If you're not taking action, someone like me is going to eat your food every single day. And that's very simple. But I've just got out there, created a lot of awareness. And then once I started getting clients, I used those clients to get other clients. I used those clients to help me continue to grow my business. And honestly, I barely advertised. I didn't have a marketing budget for almost a decade. I was grinding. And look, it took me what, 7 years to make $1 million. And I got people doing it in 2 years now, you know?
It's amazing. Congratulations again, Josh.
Thank
I think ultimately when we talk about hiring, it goes down to hire what you can't teach. And that's really the fundamental success that we see, especially in our industries. But moving on, talking about hiring, staffing issues is something that every gym and fitness brand, and quite frankly, a lot of people in the US are currently dealing with. How does, GYMGUYZ position themselves from a staffing issues perspective, and then also on an employee retention perspective, especially going into the new year? I imagine that your franchisees have seen quite the influx in people trying to get in their best shape for their New Year's resolution. So how do you position your franchisees to handle those things?
We created a program that's really unique internally within our system. And we can't hire people because of joint employer law, but we actually screen, vet, we do everything for our franchise partners. Then we literally give them on a silver platter to them. So that's been very, very helpful. And we have hundreds and hundreds of trainers throughout our system. But how do you win? Well, it starts with culture, right? You need to have the right culture. Just to understand a little bit of our culture, like we write little raps. I actually write it every year. I write a little rap song and I tie it into our conference recap video. And people, when I say that, like kind of laugh and think it's almost corny. Honestly, these are hit records that would literally be playing on the radio. So if you want to listen to them, you can go onto YouTube, type in GYMGUYZ, go to our YouTube channel and watch our recharge recap videos, and you can learn more about that. But culture, the saying culture eats strategy for breakfast is real, and teamwork makes the dream work. And we're always having fun. We work very hard, but we play very hard too. And you got to have fun, whether that's playing volleyball, dodgeball, laser tag, paintball. We've rented out the movies before. Sometimes we're just hanging out. We're always having a good time. And people like to always hire all the time for skill. I hire attitude over skill. Okay. Skill can be taught. Attitude can never be taught. All right. And sometimes people think you need to get that person who's got that stacked resume. Well, if they got horrible energy, they're going to ruin your whole entire company. Okay. Everyone in my team is just bouncing off the walls like me. Right. And that's really what it takes. If you want to get to the next level, you need people with high energy, but you also need people who have the right mindset. Because especially in my situation, and we've had tons of problems and we still have tons of problems and we're always going to have problems, right? Look, success is not final and failure is not fatal. And just like you have seasons, you're going to have seasons in business and in life, okay? When you're high, you're not going to be there forever, so you better enjoy it. And when you're low, you're not going to be there forever. So, remember that. And when you really live your life, like things are happening for me, like I was telling you earlier, like when I have rough days, I just think about the person upstairs challenging me. Like it's like they're trying to play. Like I use it as a game, right? Like they're trying to play a game to see if I can handle it. But, these are the type of people you need in your team, and you need good leadership, right? That leader's got to be a real good leader and also a good actor or a good actress. Why? Because there's going to be lots of challenging moments. And if you ever let your team feel your true emotions, you're done. You're done. That's a fact.
Yeah, it's great advice. So my last question is, as far as your passion, anybody that's listening or hearing this can instantaneously sense your energy and passion through that call, which is incredible. And I have a lot to learn from that, which is amazing. So thank you. But how does the passion really aid in scaling GYMGUYZ to where you are today?
Yeah. Well, before I answer that, I'm just trying to figure out, you're never going to be able to ever top this interview. Like, this is going to be your number one interview you'll ever do. I will guarantee everything on that. But how do you scale that? It's very simple. Okay. Energy and passion is contagious. And if you're not a good storyteller and you don't have good energy, no one else is going to believe. I have the most amazing team in the world with the highest level skilled individuals on this team. Okay. I like to always compare it to like an all-star team in sports. And that's really what we do. Business is like sports, right? You know, you can't always have a good day, right? You're not a player's not always going to score every single time. Sometimes you're going to have dry spells. Some they're going to be on hot streaks. That's just like business. But energy is contagious. And if you can show me one person that you know who's successful that doesn't have energy, I'd like to meet him, because it doesn't exist. It does not exist. That's it. And if you lead from the top, everyone else will follow. You know, look, at my building, I want you to eat off the parking lot. Like, I'm obsessed with clean. Like, you can literally lick the floors. I don't even have a cleaning company here. People actually ask me, well, who cleans this? No one cleans it. We all clean it together. And including myself. I have to wipe down the urinal. I wipe it down myself. But last week, I'm picking up garbage. I take some calls outside and I pick up garbage all the time. People throw garbage everywhere. Some guy pulls in. He rolls down the window. He goes, hey, asshole. He goes, maybe next time you finish off school, you get a better job. I was like, oh, thank you very much. Have a nice day. You know, obviously you can't judge a book by its cover, and he doesn't know I own his building, but people see that, right? Like, my team sees that, and I don't do it for them to see it. I do it because I do it, but they see that. And what does that do? That sets expectations. But if you act like a boss, which is the worst thing you could possibly ever, I hate that word. It makes me cringe.
Yeah.
Everyone calls me their fearless leader, and I'm great. And I love that. I'm not a boss. Okay. If you act like the boss is someone who comes in around 10 o'clock. Hey, how you doing? Thinks he's better than everybody else, has a reserved parking spot. That stuff's a bunch of nonsense, man. And I have no respect for it, because a real leader leads by example.
Yep.
That's it, you know, and that's how it's got to be.
Yeah. Our CEO and founder, the CEO stands for Chief Energizing Officer. So shout out to you, Andre. We appreciate your presence in our organization. So Josh, I got a little time. I can imagine that in doing this your entire life, you've come across a couple really funny stories. Do you mind sharing one?
Okay, so one I could think of right away. So I had a very big meeting when I was still training, and I literally lived in my van pretty much. I was leaving my house at like 3 a.m, and I was coming home at 11 o'clock at night. I was not even getting much sleep. And I had this big meeting one night. I had a client that I was finishing at 7:30. And I was going to be a little late to the meeting, but I figured, you know, whatever, I'll bring my dress clothes. I'll change quickly in the van. So I changed in the van. And as soon as I got in the van, put my dress pants on, I literally ripped, not like a hole. I mean, I ripped my whole pants to the point where literally they were falling off. But this was like an event. You had to be dressed up, right? So I literally, I had some string in my van. I took a screwdriver and I poked it in my pants. And I figured if I kept it up high enough and I had my shirt down, no one would see it. But I was walking so weird, because if I turned a certain direction, you would literally see my whole entire boxers, right? They're these, you know. And I'll never forget, I was talking to this guy and he actually noticed it. And he's and he whispered to me, he's like, you got a huge, huge hole in the back of you. I said, I know. So I told him the story and he started laughing. I didn't know who this guy was. This guy was the CEO of this big company that we signed a big six-figure deal for. And he loved that story so much and the way I told it, because you got to be a great storyteller. Yeah. But as funny as it was, I used it to my advantage and ended up closing a very big deal.
It's amazing. So take the embarrassing moments, be honest, and figure out the best version to tell the story.
Listen, you got to flip things, right? I just was speaking at this school. That's one thing I do. I like to give back a lot. And that's something I always promise, that through all the challenges, I'll help others, because I think it's important. And speaking at this school, and the principal was going around asking questions. I don't know, it was 500 kids in there maybe. And this one kid was joking around, and he asked, why are you bald? And but the principal didn't he didn't say that to me. I didn't know what it was, and I was asking someone else, what did he say? Because I couldn't hear. So one of the kids is like, why is he bald? So I got in the mic. I was like, all right, the question was, why is he bald? And everyone's cracking up. And I said, because you know what? It's not easy being bald and beautiful. And I took that, flipped it, and had the whole place laughing. But there's always an opportunity in any situation to flip it and make fun of it. And that's very, very important. And those type of characteristics having fun, and being playful are great. And there's also great qualities for a good leader.
I appreciate the honesty and the noble character that you have in those opportunities. I can imagine since then, when you have important meetings, you have an extra pair of slacks in the car now.
Yeah, well, I don't have to do that anymore because I haven't trained in a very long time, but I did actually keep an extra pair at that time after that happened. So I learned from that. And that's another thing that's very important. If you want me to give you another nugget, it's okay to make mistakes, and you should make mistakes, and losses are lessons. But if you screw up again and you make that same mistake, then that's on you, and then you're the problem. So make sure you don't make those mistakes again, learn from them and fix them.
Amazing. Josh, from myself and our listeners all over the globe, we appreciate you. Congratulations to your success in GYMGUYZ, and everybody hop on GYMGUYZ website and get involved. Try a workout and experience it for yourself. So thanks, Josh.
Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. That's it for this week's episode. I hope you found it helpful. Be sure to head over to our site, local-business-hacks.com, to check out the show notes and send me questions or ideas for future episodes. If you want to grow your business, just like the people you've heard from here, follow Local Business Hacks Podcast and tune in for new tips, tricks, and tactics. Until next time, thanks for listening and keep hacking.